2025 was a year unlike any other in China's entertainment world. Behind the glitz and glamour, a wave of shocking scandals erupted, shaking the industry to its core and exposing the darker side of fame, influence, and online culture. From a beloved actress's tragic death and the horrors of human trafficking, to a disgraced snooker star's return and the collapse of celebrity gossip culture, the headlines never stopped coming. In this video, we're taking you deep into the biggest controversies that shook millions and rewrote the rules of stardom in China. Stick around and hit subscribe for more stories that matter. Barbie Shu had long been a beloved figure in the world of Asian entertainment. Her breakout role in the early 2000s drama Meteor Garden made her an icon across Taiwan, China, and beyond. Known for her gentle demeanor and natural screen presence, she spent years building a solid reputation, not only as an actress, but as a style figure and public personality. So when news broke in February 2025 that she had passed away suddenly, the public response was an outpouring of shock, sadness, and disbelief. But it wasn't just the tragedy of her death that dominated the headlines. It was what followed: the toxic online storm, the finger-pointing, and the unraveling of a bitter family feud that had quietly been festering in the background for years. Barbie had divorced Chinese businessman Wang Shing in 2021 after a 10-year marriage. Their separation wasn't clean. It became public, messy, and dragged out through online bickering and leaks from both sides. Wang Xiaofei's mother, Zhang Lan, a former businesswoman turned influencer, became an increasingly loud and aggressive voice in the situation. Through live streams and short videos, Zhang accused Barbie of financial manipulation, neglect, and worse. She posted receipts, hotel logs, and private audio recordings, all in the name of clearing her son's name. As the internet lapped it up, Barbie stayed mostly silent, occasionally releasing short statements through her legal team. But the damage had already been done. Her reputation, though still strong among her fanbase, was being dragged through the mud in real time. In the months leading up to her death, Barbie had been under enormous stress. She was involved in multiple lawsuits tied to defamation and emotional distress, most of them linked directly to content posted by her ex-husband and his mother. Screenshots circulated online showing Zhang Lan mocking Barbie's appearance, accusing her of mental instability, and framing her as a manipulative ex-wife who refused to let go. Despite public calls for restraint, the harassment continued. According to close friends who later spoke out, Barbie had begun to withdraw from social media and public life, choosing instead to focus on her children and health. She reportedly suffered from insomnia, weight loss, and anxiety, made worse by the constant flood of hate and speculation online. When she died in her sleep in early February, the cause was initially described as sudden cardiac failure. But in the days that followed, the conversation quickly turned dark. Fans and media outlets began pointing fingers, especially at Zhang Lan, whose social media posts continued even after Barbie's passing. In one now-deleted video, Zhang seemed to laugh off the tragedy, implying that Barbie's choices led her down a dark path. The backlash was swift and brutal. Hashtags demanding justice for Barbie began trending. Thousands flooded Zhang Lan's live streams with angry comments. Petitions were launched calling for her account to be banned. Eventually, Chinese platforms stepped in. Douyin and Weibo both announced that Zhang Lan's accounts, as well as those of Wang Xiaofei, were being permanently suspended for violating community guidelines and promoting content that disrespected the deceased. It was an unprecedented move that signaled a shift in how digital harassment would be handled moving forward. But for many fans, it was too little, too late. The damage had already been done. What made this scandal even more disturbing was the way it exposed a darker side of influencer culture and online justice in China. Zhang Lan wasn't just a grieving mother defending her son. She had turned her vendetta into content. Her live streams pulled in massive audiences, racking up millions of views and donations. Every post about Barbie, no matter how cruel, translated into clicks and cash. And audiences fed into it, either supporting her or hate-watching with morbid curiosity. It blurred the lines between personal pain and public entertainment, showing just how far things had spiraled in the age of social media monetization. In the wake of Barbie's death, celebrities and public figures across Asia began speaking out about the toll of digital bullying. Some admitted they had considered quitting the industry entirely because of relentless trolling. Others posted old photos with Barbie, sharing stories about her kindness and professionalism. A few even apologized for staying silent during the smear campaign, admitting they didn't want to get involved in what seemed like a messy divorce. Her family has since kept a relatively low profile. Her sister Di Shu made a brief public appearance to thank fans for their support and to call for privacy. But the conversation Barbie's death sparked hasn't faded. It's become a symbol of how online cruelty, unchecked and encouraged by algorithms, can have real-life consequences. Even someone as beloved and respected as Barbie Shu wasn't immune to it, and now she's gone. Wang Shing wasn't a household name until his disappearance made international headlines. Known by his stage name Xing, he had gained a modest following through online dramas, commercials, and social media posts that showed off his clean-cut look and easy charm. Like many young Chinese actors, he dreamed of breaking out of the streaming circuit and landing bigger roles. So when he was offered a chance to star in a project in Thailand early in 2025, it seemed like the opportunity he had been waiting for. What he didn't know was that the whole job offer was a trap. Wang boarded a flight to Bangkok in January with little more than a suitcase and his phone. He kept in contact with his girlfriend and posted pictures from the airport like everything was normal. But after landing, all communication from him abruptly stopped. His phone was unreachable. He didn't show up to the hotel he was supposed to check into. At first, his family thought it might be a misunderstanding, a missed connection. But when hours turned into days with no word, the panic set in. His girlfriend went public with the story on Chinese social media, posting tearful videos begging for help. She explained that he had been lured abroad by someone claiming to be a casting agent, promising a starring role in a Chinese-Thai co-production. With her post gaining traction, others came forward with similar stories. Some had been approached with fake contracts. Others had friends who vanished after traveling to Southeast Asia for so-called influencer work. A disturbing pattern emerged. Young people, especially those in the entertainment or social media scene, were being targeted and trafficked. Authorities quickly got involved. Chinese and Thai police began a joint investigation, and through surveillance footage and immigration records, they tracked Wang Xing's movements. It turned out he had been taken from the Bangkok airport straight into the hands of a human trafficking ring. The group specialized in kidnapping Chinese nationals and smuggling them into scam compounds along the border of Thailand and Myanmar. These compounds were notorious for forcing captives to work in online fraud operations, often involving romance scams or investment schemes targeting Chinese citizens back home. Wang was found weeks later, bruised, malnourished, and terrified, in a guarded building near the town of Mayawati. Reports later revealed that he had been beaten when he refused to participate in the scam work and had been threatened with death. His release required coordination between multiple agencies, and the photos of him being escorted out by Thai police quickly went viral. The Chinese public was horrified, not just at what he had endured, but at how easily it had happened. If someone with a public profile like Wang Shing could be snatched up so easily, what chance did ordinary travelers have? His return home was treated almost like the end of a hostage crisis. He reunited with his girlfriend in a highly emotional moment that was shared across platforms. He didn't speak to the media right away, but his team released a statement confirming he was safe and recovering. Not long after, Wang himself broke his silence in a live stream, where he described how he had been deceived and what he had seen inside the compound. He cried during parts of the broadcast, detailing how some captives had been locked in cages or tied to chairs for days as punishment. He said he knew of at least 2 people who had died trying to escape. The fallout was swift. The Thai government announced a crackdown on fraudulent agencies and tightened border security with Myanmar. Chinese embassies issued warnings against traveling to certain regions without verified contracts. Some entertainment agencies came under fire for not doing enough to verify work offers sent to young actors. Social media platforms began flagging suspicious job offers that matched the methods used in Wang's case. But the incident also sparked a broader discussion in China about the growing problem of human trafficking tied to the digital world. For years, stories of scam compounds and cyber slavery had circulated online, but few believed it could affect people in the entertainment business. Wang's story shattered that illusion. He became a reluctant symbol of a crisis that had remained mostly hidden, and his bravery in speaking out helped bring attention to a network that had ruined countless lives. Even now, Wang Shing remains low-key. He hasn't returned to acting, at least not yet. But his ordeal left a mark on the public and shifted the national conversation. What started as a personal nightmare ended up uncovering one of the most chilling stories of the year. Zhao Xintong had once been hailed as the future of Chinese snooker. With his calm demeanor, pinpoint precision, and youthful charm, he rose through the ranks at a speed few had predicted. By his mid-20s, Zhao had already lifted major titles and was being compared to legends in the game. Fans nicknamed him the Prince of Snooker, and brands lined up to work with him. But in 2023, everything came crashing down when he was suspended in connection to a massive match-fixing scandal that rocked the sport from the inside out. Even though he wasn't accused of throwing his own matches, the revelation that he had helped facilitate illegal betting activities and manipulated the outcomes of other players' games was enough to tarnish his image and halt his career. For many, the news came as a shock. Zhao was seen as a clean player, someone who seemed more interested in his craft than in chasing money. But the investigation showed he had knowingly participated in a network that fixed games for gambling syndicates. The scandal wasn't just limited to Zhao. Over a dozen Chinese players were caught up in the same case, revealing a deep web of corruption that had quietly taken root in the snooker world. Zhao's involvement, while not the most severe, was still serious enough to earn him a 20-month ban from the sport. It was a fall from grace that few expected, and one that left a noticeable hole in Chinese sports media coverage. During his suspension, Zhao disappeared from the spotlight. He stopped updating his social media. He turned down interviews. He moved back in with his family and reportedly spent most of his days in quiet isolation, training on a private table and reflecting on the choices that led to his punishment. While other players caught in the scandal denied wrongdoing or lashed out at the system, Zhao remained silent. That silence, as it turned out, may have helped him. Unlike some of his peers who were banned indefinitely or saw their reputations completely destroyed, Zhao's case was viewed by many as a youthful mistake rather than a calculated scheme. He was still eligible to return in early 2025. His comeback was cautious at first. He entered smaller tournaments under minimal fanfare, playing cleanly but with visible pressure. The snooker community watched closely to see if he could bounce back or if the scandal had permanently shaken his confidence. Then, something remarkable happened. Zhao started winning. Match by match, his form improved. He reached quarterfinals, then semifinals, and by the time he stepped into the World Championship in April, he had become one of the tournament's most talked about players. The final match brought everything full circle. Zhao, once disgraced and cast out, now stood back in the global spotlight, fighting for the biggest prize in snooker. Though he ultimately lost in a hard-fought battle, his presence in the final sent a clear message. He was back. And not just back in form, but back in the hearts of many fans who believed he had paid his price and earned another shot. Still, not everyone was willing to forgive so quickly. The online reaction was divided. Some praised Zhao for taking responsibility and serving his punishment with dignity. Others felt his return sent the wrong signal, that talent could outweigh integrity. Debate flared across Chinese sports forums and global snooker communities. Should athletes involved in match fixing be allowed back into professional play? Was rehabilitation possible, or should the door remain closed permanently? Zhao himself tried to avoid the noise. In post-match interviews, he didn't dodge questions about his past. He admitted to poor judgment, expressed regret, and said he hoped his performance would be judged on merit rather than history. He talked about the pressure young players face, the influence of older peers, and the difficulty of saying no when money is dangled in front of you. It wasn't an excuse, he said, but a reality that the sport needed to face. His words struck a chord, not just with fans, but with younger athletes who looked up to him. His story became more than a scandal. It became a cautionary tale, and oddly, a story of hope. In a world where most fall from grace ends in silence or exile, Zhao's journey showed a rare second chance. Whether his redemption sticks remains to be seen, but for now, he's playing better than ever, trying to rebuild what was broken. Jeng Shuang had already been one of the most polarizing figures in Chinese entertainment, long before 2025. Once seen as a sweetheart of teen dramas and romantic series, her career had taken a massive nosedive after allegations emerged that she had used surrogates in the United States, and then abandoned the children during a bitter breakup with her then-boyfriend, Zhang Heng. That scandal had already cost her multiple endorsement deals and resulted in a government-imposed blacklisting from the entertainment industry. But just when the public thought the story had faded into the past, it exploded again, louder, uglier, and more legally complicated than ever. In early 2025, new court documents were unsealed in the US. During an ongoing custody battle between Zhang Heng and Jeng Shuang, the documents included transcripts of text messages that shocked even those already familiar with the case. In one exchange, Zheng allegedly pressured the surrogate agency to terminate the pregnancies when the couple broke up, even though both fetuses were already more than 7 months along. The idea of asking for a late-term abortion, not due to medical necessity, but emotional conflict, outraged the public and reignited furious debate online. Even people who had initially defended her couldn't find justification for what was now being referred to as the darkest chapter in her personal history. As soon as the transcripts went public, Chinese state media picked up the story again. Commentators tore into the ethics of surrogacy, calling it a sign of Western moral decay and criticizing celebrities for exploiting loopholes abroad to bypass Chinese laws banning the practice. Social media erupted in fury. On Weibo, hashtags like Zheng Shuang Moral Bottom and Boycott Zheng Shuang Forever trended for days. People shared screenshots of her past interviews, where she had presented herself as a loyal, loving, traditional woman who valued family and motherhood. That image, already fragile, was now completely shattered. The most damning blow came not from public opinion, but from the legal fallout. Zheng, who had been trying to quietly return to the industry by doing low-profile modeling gigs in foreign markets, was suddenly under new investigation. Chinese authorities looked into whether she had violated tax laws by concealing payments made to the surrogacy agencies and attempted to suppress evidence through shell companies. There were whispers that even her return to public social media platforms had violated the terms of her blacklisting, which was originally meant to be indefinite. People who had recently seen her appear in online advertisements or fashion shoots now turned on the brands that had hired her, accusing them of ignoring the pain she had caused. For Zheng herself, there was nowhere to hide. She attempted a live broadcast in March 2025 to tell her side of the story, hoping to explain that things had been exaggerated or taken out of context. The stream lasted only a few minutes before crashing under the weight of furious comments. In those few minutes, she appeared visibly anxious, blinking back tears and stuttering through a vague apology that didn't land with viewers. Many called it the most tone-deaf PR move she could have made. Meanwhile, Zheng Heng spoke publicly from the United States, where he had been raising the two children alone. In a televised interview, he shared photos of their birthdays, medical visits, and first steps, all moments Zheng had never been part of. He stopped short of openly condemning her, but the message was clear. He had chosen to raise the children while she had walked away. The contrast between his quiet dedication and her ongoing legal problems made public opinion tilt heavily in his favor. For many viewers, it wasn't just a story about surrogacy anymore. It was about abandonment, responsibility, and what it means to be a parent. The incident caused major ripples through China's already strict entertainment industry. Several agencies released statements saying they would adopt stricter background checks before signing talent. Publicists scrambled to scrub any past affiliations with Zheng from promotional material. Younger actresses quietly deleted posts where they had once praised her. Surrogacy agencies working with Chinese clients also came under fresh scrutiny, with cross-border investigations launched into how many other celebrities had quietly used similar methods. By the time summer arrived, Jeng Shuang's name had become radioactive. She was dropped from even foreign campaigns and blocked from launching any personal live streaming ventures. A documentary crew that had once pitched a redemption-style series about her life canceled the project. Her fan groups, once fiercely loyal, disbanded quietly, posting farewell messages and disillusioned apologies for having ever supported her. It wasn't just a fall from grace, it was a total collapse of public trust, and it cemented her legacy not as a beloved actress, but as one of the most controversial figures Chinese entertainment had ever seen. The crackdown began quietly at first, with a few anonymous accounts on Weibo and Douyin vanishing overnight. But by April 2025, it had escalated into a full-blown campaign that swept across China's entertainment landscape. The government, through the Cyberspace Administration of China, launched one of its most aggressive online purges, targeting celebrity gossip pages, unlicensed paparazzi groups, and rumor-spreading influencers. The move, described in official statements as an effort to clean up the internet and promote positive online culture, had an immediate and chilling effect. Some of the most popular gossip accounts, which had millions of followers and frequently broke celebrity news, were wiped out in a matter of days. These were not obscure pages either. Many had become media giants in their own right, generating headlines that shaped public perception of stars, fueling online outrage, and at times even influencing brands and production companies. But what the government pointed to was a darker side: unauthorized surveillance, fabricated stories, doxing of celebrities' private information, and secret recordings that were often filmed without consent. Screenshots of influencers using hidden cameras to snap photos of actors at airports or celebrities dining with unknown companions began circulating online, paired with captions filled with speculation, mockery, and thinly veiled accusations. Some were harmless rumors. Others led to full-blown career damage. By mid-April, over 200 accounts had been taken down. The crackdown also included warning notices sent to content creators who had not yet been removed, urging them to rectify their behavior and avoid publishing or reposting unverified celebrity-related content. Chinese media praised the move, saying it restored dignity to public figures who had long been victims of digital stalking. But the public response was mixed. Some users celebrated the disappearance of what they called toxic gossip pages, while others worried that the move signaled yet another layer of censorship that would silence even legitimate journalism. The crackdown had far-reaching consequences. Popular entertainment bloggers who had built careers on dissecting red carpet looks, comparing celebrity real estate, or revealing secret relationships were suddenly unemployed. Some tried to pivot to more general lifestyle content or beauty reviews, but without the clickbait drama, their viewership tanked. Others quietly moved their operations abroad, switching to platforms like Instagram or YouTube, hoping to evade Chinese jurisdiction. But their reach was never the same. Algorithms shifted, traffic disappeared, and for the first time in years, gossip was no longer driving the entertainment conversation in China. Celebrities responded in very different ways. Some took the moment to strike back at their longtime harassers. Singer and actress Yang Mi issued a rare statement condemning paparazzi who had followed her child to school and praised the government's move as a victory for personal safety. Actor Huyp, known for his private lifestyle, posted a brief note thanking officials for defending the right to be left alone. On the other hand, a few younger influencers expressed quiet concern that the sweeping bans had also erased genuine fan communities who simply speculated about dating rumors or fashion choices. The line between healthy curiosity and targeted harassment had always been thin, and now it seemed that line no longer mattered. The most dramatic fallout involved an account known as Entertainment Revelation, which had gained notoriety for leaking court documents, drug test results, and flight logs of celebrities involved in legal disputes. It was revealed that the person behind the account was a former assistant at a talent agency who had built a secret business out of leaking confidential information in exchange for tips and bribes. When the account was banned, authorities confirmed that criminal charges were being considered, and the case quickly became a warning to anyone working behind the scenes in entertainment. Leaking data was no longer a game, it was a crime. What made the 2025 Gossip Purge unique wasn't just its scale, but its timing. It came after a string of high-profile scandals, including the tragic death of Barbie Shu and the resurfacing of surrogacy accusations against Jeng Shuang. Public appetite for celebrity drama had become frenzied, often bordering on obsessive. And in the eyes of the state, it was time to regain control. The internet was no longer just a place for speculation. It had become a weapon, and one that needed regulation. By the end of April, the gossip industry in China looked completely different. What once fueled headlines, social conversations, and live-stream debates had been reduced to whispers and sanitized posts. Whether this shift will be permanent remains unclear. But for now, one thing is certain. The era of viral celebrity gossip in China has ended, and it didn't go out quietly. These scandals didn't just stir the public, they forced the entertainment industry to confront painful truths about morality, power, and accountability. Careers were destroyed, reputations shattered, and audiences left wondering where the line between spectacle and cruelty should be drawn. Whether justice was served or not, one thing is clear. 2025 was a turning point. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll be diving deeper into more stories that mainstream media won't always show, because behind every headline, there's a story that deserves to be told.